Welcome back to Invincible, the show where we tell the tales of our biggest athletic talents, striving to be invincible on and off the field. My name is Vince Wolfram, and I am so stoked that you're here. This week on this Thanksgiving special of Invincible, we are in the greatest stadium in college football, Jordan-Hare Stadium, the home of the Auburn Tigers. And today we're going to learn a little behind the scenes on one of the greatest traditions in college football history, the flight of the Eagle. Let's do it.
College football Saturdays are back.
SEC Nation is in Auburn, baby.
The craziest. He's just invincible. And today I am joined by the Southeastern Raptor Center employees. We got Parker and we got Everett. And we're up here in section 46 in Jordan-Hare Stadium with our Eagle, Aria. And these guys are the ones who bring Aria up during the games, at the start of the games, before the Eagle flies. And guys, talk about that. When you bring Aria up here, what does the environment look like up here when everybody sees this bird?
It's very hectic. So we have to drive our golf cart all the way across the stadium, especially in 46. It's all the way on the other side of the stadium. It's usually us volunteers leading the front. We have to get in front of the golf cart, and we have to make sure everyone gets out of the way. And then once we get all the way up here, we have security that gets us this nice little station. And from there, we can release. And it's very hectic. We have a lot of crowd, and we love it, though.
What goes into the release? Obviously, you communicate with the handlers on the field. From up here, what does that communication look like?
Yep, so we're waiting. Usually around 18 minutes on the clock is when our promo video starts. And then 17:30-ish when we release. I'm looking for around the 50. My boss, Andrew, has a little orange flag, and he's hiding behind usually a tall football player, and he waves it. And once I see that wave is a signal for me to lift and release.
Well, I'm ready.
We're ready.
You guys ready? Let's send the signals down and let's get Aria flying.
Ready? Ready, set.
So now we are down on the field with the handler, Amanda Sweeney. So talk a little bit about what you do, what your position is.
Yes, so I serve as a Raptor specialist at the Southeastern Raptor Center. So we do fly the Eagles before the games, and we're out here 5 days a week practicing. So there's a lot of routine that we're getting ready. They're not just out in the field for game day, but then before the games, we come here about 2 hours early, get everything ready, and then it's our jobs to run out in the field and call the Eagles down.
We see you with the flag, and then you have the piece that they come and land on. But what other behind the scenes stuff that maybe fans don't see that you do to help bring the Eagle in?
So they're all trained to a leather lure. It's just 2 pieces of leather, but to them it's a magic button. They know that once they grab that, they're going to get fed. So a lot of people think that we have rats or mice on the field. What it is that they're actually coming to is, again, just 2 pieces of leather. And for them, they know that once they grab it, then they'll get their food reward. And they can pick us out of 87,000 people. So they know their trainers and they know their routine. So really it's just a matter of we're watching them and hiding. And then right when we feel like it's time, we go running out to the 50-yard line, pull out that leather lure, and they come straight down to it.
Has there ever been moments where you're surprised or they went on a different flight than maybe you thought they would?
Yeah, I mean, they can't always do whatever they want. So we do have transmitters to track them in case something were to happen, but they are practicing, again, 5 days a week. So they know their routine, and really it's all about that repetition. If they wanted to, of course, they could leave at any moment. And so it's always a little bit nerve-wracking for us, but really the only times that they've flown out of the stadium was because of the wind, it kind of flew them out, but then they've always come back in, and they've always landed in the field during a game.
Well, Amanda has one of the coolest jobs on game days. The football players, they do their thing. Coaches, they do their thing. But the Eagle flight is unlike anything else in college football. Amanda, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now we're here with Andrew Hopkins, the Assistant Director at the Southeastern Raptor Center. Now, Andrew's been here for 14 years, you said?
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about how the War Eagle came about.
Yeah, so the War Eagle legend is that in 1892, there is an injured eagle found on the battlefield. And a Civil War professor actually brought it back to Auburn University with him, and he started taking it to the football games, and he kind of became a fixture on the sidelines. So when we played the University of Georgia over in Piedmont Park in 1892, that eagle actually escaped from his hand and started circling around the field. The team was behind, they thought all those cheers were for them. They started marching down the field and scoring touchdowns, and we actually won that game. And at the end of the game, that eagle was so exhausted that it crashed and died on midfield. And so before each game, we like to replicate that to an extent with an eagle circling around the field, landing at midfield. We just try and leave off the death part. Now, with that though, the actual first live eagle, because that's just a legend, the first live eagle wasn't until 1930, I believe. And then during that time, a fraternity Alpha Phi Omega actually took care of the War Eagles up until about the year 2000 when the Southeastern Raptor Center took over. And that's also when the eagle began soaring around in the stadium. So we've had an eagle at Auburn University since about 1930, but the first flight around the stadium wasn't until 2000.
And then talk about the eagles that we currently have. We saw Aria and Independence.
Yeah, so we've got...
Those were the two we saw today, but there's more.
Yeah, so Aria and Independence are the two eagles that were flying this year, but we also have Spirit, who flew from 2002 until last year, 2021, and then Nova, who's War Eagle 7, he flew from 2004 until 2016. At the end of the 2016, he was actually diagnosed with a heart condition, and so he no longer flies, but we still have those two eagles also, and they help us with all those educational presentations that we do across the Southeast.
And there's a lot of training and practice that goes into this as well. Talk about what that looks like, because people who take these birds up there and who work with them are students.
Yeah, so we rely a lot on our student volunteers. We've got about 10 to 15 of them that we keep at the education section, and we really rely on them not only just for helping with these eagles, but helping with the rest of our collection, all of our hawks and owls and vultures and everything that we've got back at the center. And so most of them are maybe a wildlife degree or an animal science degree, whatever it might be, but we actually accept any college students to come out and help us train these raptors. And so there's a lot of work that goes into it. Lots of people, they just know us for those 30 to 60 seconds on game day, but we do a lot more than that throughout the year.
In your time at Auburn, what are some of your favorite memories of the eagle flight?
Yeah, some of my favorite memories aren't really necessarily related to the eagle flight, but really getting to know some of these other live mascot trainers that visit Auburn. And so that's always just fun to kind of talk with all those different live animal mascot trainers and just kind of learn about them a little bit more.
Absolutely. The Southeastern Raptor Center, check it out. They'll take any students as long as you're interested and willing to learn. So, Andrew, thank you so much for your time, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Man, that was fun. It was so awesome to see the workings of this tradition from behind the curtain and to know how they help the bird do what we all know it to do. Thanks to Director Wade Stevens for letting us join him and the rest of the Southeastern Raptor Center folks to see it all. Speaking of something you should see, our friends from Warner Bros. Television Group and the CW reached out to us here at Eagle Eye TV about an awesome special that came out on Sunday, November 20th. That special is extra awesome because it includes one of our very own, Auburn sophomore Marcelle LeBlanc. I sat down with Marcelle last week before the special aired to talk about her role in a Walton's Thanksgiving. Today, we are joined by the winner of the 2018 Miss America Outstanding Teen, an actress known for her roles in the Walton's Homecoming, Criminal Minds, Stranger Things, and Fear Street 1978, and a current Auburn University sophomore, Marcelle LeBlanc. Marcelle, welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So today we're here to tell your story, and specifically your role in the new film, the newest installment of the beloved television family, The Waltons. The Waltons Thanksgiving. It airs Sunday, November 20th. 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW. Marcelle, in this film, you portray the character Mary Ellen. Talk about your role and the character that you're portraying.
Yeah, so Mary Ellen is the oldest girl in the Waltons family. In a Waltons Homecoming, she was about 14 years old, so now we're seeing her at about 15 years old, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows is a very fun and not fun age at the same time. So she is kind of going through it. In the first movie, we kind of saw a lot of Mary Ellen being very independent, very fierce after who she was, and really not letting anybody tell her no. And there's still a whole lot of that in this movie. But I think what's really special about A Walton's Thanksgiving is that we are watching Mary Ellen kind of go from a little girl to a young woman, and learn a lot about what it takes to work as a team, work as a family, navigate feelings. I mean, she is really going through a whole lot of growth in this movie, and I think that it's really fun to be able able to watch that, because I know when I was 14, 15 years old, I wanted to watch that character on TV because I was going through so much that I didn't quite understand. So I'm so grateful that I get to be that for little kids and be able to be that person for them to look up to and be like, if they're going through hard times, have somebody to watch.
How are we ever gonna win this talent show if you can't make it through a single verse?
You play the banjo and I'll sing.
And talk about the growth of the character Mary Ellen from the first movie. I know she has very opinionated sort of ideas. Talk about that growth too. Like you said, as she grows, her character expands too. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Mary Ellen she knows exactly who she is, which is, you know, really crazy that at 14 years old she is so solid in her identity that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. She's gonna do what she wants to do. She's gonna be who she is, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says to her. And she is still very much that person in this movie. But a big part of growing up and becoming an adult is learning that you have to learn how to work with others, and you have to learn how to collaborate. And while it's really important to believe in yourself strongly, it's also important to believe in those that you love and support them just as much as you support yourself. So that's a lot of what Mary Ellen is doing in this movie, and growing and learning really what it takes to be a young woman and look after those that she cares about.
I am thankful that Sister Harriet and Brother William are helping me and Jason rehearse for the talent show at the fair.
And if you could describe, for maybe people who haven't seen the first one or looking to see this one, could you describe the Waltons' Thanksgiving in one sentence? What would you say?
Oh, in one sentence, the perfect family movie. It's such a perfect movie to kind of gather with your family and watch, which is so crazy because there's so much on television that's not like that.
Absolutely.
I know I've been a part of a fair share of projects that are not like that. I was so fortunate to be a part of Netflix's Fear Street movies. I was in Fear Street Part 2, which was so fun, but so not a family movie, and it was very geared towards a specific audience. But I think what's really special about the Waltons is anybody can watch it and enjoy it, and anybody can watch it and find somebody that they identify with and that they see elements of themselves in, which is really crazy that anybody from 6 years old to 90 years old can watch this and find something from it. So I think that that's kind of how I would describe it.
Yeah, and it covers that whole audience, like you said, from young ages to old ages.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about what you think the takeaways for an audience watching this film would be.
I think one of the biggest takeaways is kind of love. Love is what keeps the Walton family together, and love is a lot of what inspires them to do what they do. If one Walton loves something, they all love it. If one Walton is passionate about something, then they're all passionate about it. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's somebody in that family that wants to do it, they're all going to support them wholeheartedly. And I think that that's a really strong message, especially after coming out of a season of such loneliness that was COVID. I think it's really special to have a project that is portraying such love and family, and I think that that's just really necessary right now on television.
Absolutely.
And I'm so fortunate that I get to play even just a little part in that. Is so grateful. So being Mary Ellen Walton and being a part of one of the most iconic television families in history and portraying those messages at a time like now is really, really special.
What about you, Mama? You haven't said what you're grateful for yet.
I thank the good Lord every day for this family.
In the movie, it is a Thanksgiving-themed film. Are there any traditions that your own family, and the Walton family share for Thanksgiving?
Obviously, those big family dinners. And what I think was really special is, you know, my family has always done a big Thanksgiving lunch, and I've never really seen that happen many other places. But so does the Walton family. So the Walton family does a big Thanksgiving lunch. They do it outside, and it's this big it's reunion and you know, welcoming others in. And I think without saying too much, in a Walton Thanksgiving, there's a whole lot of welcoming and welcoming in others, and I think that that's really special and a lot of what my family has done. So being a part of a project like that is really special.
You are a full-time student.
Yes.
And you're doing this, it's a career outside of being a full-time student. How do you juggle all of these moving pieces in your life with being a student and also being a business, being a full-time actor?
Yeah, so you know, I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's not easy, but you know, I've always been a firm believer that nothing worth having in life comes easy. You know, you have to really work for the things that you want. There's a whole lot of sacrifice, but at the end of the day, if it's something that you're passionate about and it's something that you really want, that sacrifice at the end of the day is going to be worth it. Being an actress is really important to me, and it's my passion. It's what I want to do, but also getting a degree is important to me. I'm never going to be the most educated person in the world, and I do not know everything, but I can make a concerted effort to know as much as I can. So getting a degree was really important to me, and I've always been such a lover of Auburn University, and being being a student of this university and having them be as supportive as they are and help me in the ways that they do has been really special. So definitely help from my advisors and my team at Auburn has been really important, but learning crucial time management skills and having a good support system are all important to be able to do what I do.
I mean, you and I are both sophomores.
Yeah.
From your first year, what were some of your favorite moments? What are some of your favorite things at Auburn?
Oh my goodness, I mean, game day at Auburn is just nothing like I've ever experienced. I was never a big football person growing up. Until now. And everybody told me they're like, it's different in college, and I just didn't believe them until I got here. And I was like, this is the most fun ever. And I'm definitely spoiled to have Auburn because I've experienced game days at other colleges, and it's just nothing. It's nothing like here. It
doesn't compare.
It's really special. And then I'm so fortunate to be a member of Alpha Gam, and I have just loved my experience with them, and they are so supportive of what I do, and getting to kind of walk through this journey with them and these new friends that I've been able to form. But really, just the experience of being an Auburn student, because I'm so fortunate to be able to say that I'm an Auburn student and to be able to get the education that I'm getting while doing what I'm doing. So just being here in general is the best experience I could ask for.
And Auburn is so happy to have you, and to see the things you're doing is just amazing.
Thank you.
And you're an inspiration to all of us. And I want to just end on this. Since it's the Thanksgiving season, and with you doing all these things at Auburn, outside of Auburn, with this show, the Walton's Thanksgiving, what are you most thankful for?
Oh gosh.
From this year?
You know, there's a lot that I am thankful for, but I think at the end of the day, I'm really the most thankful for my team and my support system, because no person gets somewhere in life completely on their own. They're always going to need people to rely on, people to lean on, and people to help them. And I have been so fortunate to have one of the greatest support systems, and people that have stopped at nothing to help me learn and grow and get to places that I never believed I could get to. So I'm really just thankful for them, because without them, I wouldn't be able to be here and talk about the things that I'm getting to do. So I'm really the most thankful for them.
Well, Marcelle, thank you so much for your time. And for everyone watching, make sure to check out Marcelle as Mary Ellen in A Walton's Thanksgiving, airing on Sunday, November 20th, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW. Marcelle is the best. Keep crushing it, my friend. The special is awesome, and we cannot wait to see you continue your successes on the big stage. Instead of our typical Tweets of the Week segment to wrap up this week's show, we're going to stay in the Thanksgiving spirit. We got a special game, a Thanksgiving dinner draft. We have 10 foods that, right now, are unrestricted free agents. I have a 5-meal roster that I need to fill so that I can take home the championship this Thanksgiving. We're going to start with my number 5 pick, bringing up the tail end. I got green beans. May not be in everybody's top 5, but for me, they sneak in, barely beating out corn for that 5 spot. With my 4th pick, gimme ham. It's a staple meat in the Wolfram household, and it's actually going to be my only meat drafted on my lineup. I'm sorry, but frankly, turkey is a little overhyped. Take it how you please. Coming in at number 3, the rolls. A dinner roll contains protein that is absolutely beneficial for your body if consumed in moderation. But go ahead, take 2. With the 2nd pick in the Turkey Day selection, this may be a surprise to some. I'm going with macaroni and cheese. Now, I have seen a lot of backlash against the Macs online, but mac and cheese fits the bill for comfort food and also keeps the younger kiddos and the grown-up kiddos happy. Last, but certainly not least, with the top pick in this year's Thanksgiving dinner draft, Vince Wolfram's plate selects stuffing. Here's why. Stuffing is the creator of the Thanksgiving culture. It's versatile. In the region in which you live, it probably has its own twist. Scientists have perfected it over the years, and overall, it just brings together families like no other. That starting 5 is bound to bring championships to the Thanksgiving dinner table this year. That's all I've got for episode 5 of this Thanksgiving edition of Invincible. I hope you all had as much fun as I did. Before you leave this video, I want to see what your Thanksgiving dinner draft board looks like, so comment below your starters. Have a great week, safe travels to all, and have a very happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you next time. Peace.